Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families and the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Oh, good morning, everybody. It is Friday, and it's the beginning of an interesting weekend because tomorrow's Saturday, and there's a big event going on, and that's repeating. There's the fuck up, Marcus.
Been so united
There it
against
is.
one candidate.
You know it's going to happen. They can't hear you guys. I got Marcus and Dennis with me today. Good morning, everybody. I'm tired. I'm just going to start there. Lots of good stuff's happening. And I'm tired. And I don't have stuff really good together today. And I was really excited about We the People. Paul Gene Swearingen did a great job. And thank you, Alan Parker, for catching my massive error. We're going to talk about that too. That's another part of what's going on right now. But I want to say good morning to everybody because we've got some really exciting things happening. And we'll talk about that and the changes that are going to need to happen and the changes that are happening that are really cool. So good morning. Lyle, Lily, I get that mixed up all the time. Really sorry. Stock Post, Topsy Turvy, Springfield, John Warren, Jonathan, Real Jingy Cat, how you doing? Darcy, thank you for making that clip for Apology. That was really a nice clip. I like what you did there. Thank you for that. That's working together. That's what it takes. Right? Really appreciate that. Kendra, good morning. Robert, Janine, how are you? Dennis, yes. Yes, We the People was great. Thank you, guys. And Bev. All right, so before I bring Dennis and Marcus on, I want to just, the cover, right? The cover is hagfish. We got to talk about this. This is cool. That's a real sliming. We'll run the event in 2 seconds, or we'll run the video in 2 seconds. That really happened, all right? Like a truck full of hagfish, slime eels, rolled over on the Pacific Highway 101 in Oregon, dumped on this car, and the car got slimed. If you're not familiar, hagfish are really kind of interesting. They have a skull but no spine. They're the only creature that we know of that have that, a skull with no spine, other than like Marco Rubio. A few other people. Haven't they documented that? Just thinking about that. Maybe the hagfish is the only waterborne creature that we're aware of that has a skull with no spine. We definitely know of many politicians that way, don't we? Marcus, are you coloring? Sounds like somebody's coloring.
I'm sorry.
That's quite all right.
Being creative, sorry.
That's great. Do you know who eats slime eels? They were going over to Korea. I had no idea they really have this thing for them over there. I'm glad that that's not something I was raised on. I mean, I'm sure they're great, but no. And the slime is really kind of cool. At first, they just thought it was a protective thing, a way for the eel to turn. It basically turns itself into a knot and then can get away from its predator that way. But the slime also clogs or stops other fish's gills from intaking oxygen. So it has a dual purpose. It's really kind of cool. Other than just being incredibly gross to human beings. Anyway. We have two Germans with us this morning. Let's say hello. Marcus is busy doing something in a scrapbook. Let's start with the smoking German, Dennis. Good morning, Dennis. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful week today. And let's start with the show. But I'm really curious what Marcus was preparing there. Let's see.
What were you doing, Marcus? What was that? You're on camera. No, you can't talk? 1 minute? Marcus is giving us some Kellyanne Conway. Thank you, Marcus. America. There you go. Yes. Thank you. Katie was asking about that, actually, the proper spelling and enunciation.
Good morning, guys.
That was lovely, Marcus. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Let's see if we get everything. I don't want double Dennis. There we go. I got all three of you on there. Here we are. Good morning, everybody. And my volume's too loud here. So, yeah. That was funny. That was hilarious. Referencing Kellyanne Conway. I didn't even catch that. I just saw him like, this is what we've devolved to, is somebody holding up cards to the press.
I managed a few days ago, to watch the whole interview with Chris Cuomo and Kellyanne Conway.
Really?
And I don't know which, if my eyes or my ears bleeded more.
Nice.
I missed it.
We'll get Marcus to make a meme from Germans. We'll do that. We'll get a meme out of that. Well, I'll cut that out. That was very nice. Good morning. Just to show that. You called the FCC today. Very nice. Thank you, Louie. Cat, so many dead fish everywhere, polluted water, and overfishing. Yes, there are so many dead fish everywhere. That's lovely. The French can have Trump. The French do not want Trump. After what he said yesterday, and they're trying to pass it off like he was talking to Macron. We're going to get into that but that's the end of the show. There's actually the song today is perfect. I don't think they really knew how perfect of a song they picked to sit down and you'll see. If you guys know, all the links are in the description. Look in the description of this event and look at those links because that's where everything is. I try to cite all the sources. They're the people doing the hard work, right? We're just referencing the material. So please visit those sites, share that material, and help us spread good information. Next Wednesday, get into some events. Next Wednesday, we the people meet Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yay!
She's running in New York against some corporate Republican guy, I'm pretty sure.
Joseph Crowley.
See, you know more. Marcus knows more about this shit than I do.
Marcus, you have to be online that day. I kept my promise and was live to Paula Sturgeon. Huh? So come on, man.
Dennis, are you kidding, man? It would be 4 o'clock in the morning, and of course I will be around.
You crazy Germans. You crazy Germans, guys. Well, good.
I would never miss a chance to meet Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
All right, but no ogling, because that's what Trump got in trouble for.
Cannot promise this. And yes, she is in a good shape.
All right, but listen. As long as you're not doing that as a representative of the state, you're not the president of Germany. So okay.
I will be a perfect representative of the Germans and the German culture, of course.
What would Merkel say? Could you imagine Merkel coming after your ass for that? I'm going to smack you, Marcus.
I would like to have a talk with her. Yes, if she would come around and have a talk with me, I'm always open for her.
All right.
Only what conversation concerns, of course.
All right.
I think she will probably end the discussion due to a couple of minutes because we would bash her with so many informations, and she would never be able to answer to all of that. So yeah.
Maybe we will see. We will see when she comes around.
Next week, huh?
Moving on.
Next week,
join us for We the People. We've got two Germans that are very excited about the show, apparently. On Saturday, which would be tomorrow, something that I have completely neglected to connect. I've failed to connect this event, the event on 7/15 with Bernie Sanders in Iowa and Scott Galindez with tomorrow, Saturday, until today. When I went, shit, that's tomorrow. Another reason we're going to talk about too many things going on. Too many good things going on. It's okay. So join us for that. I will start broadcast probably about 6:45 a.m. Pacific time. The event is supposed to start officially at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Central time, and it opens up with it's just a morning session. It's like a people summit in Iowa. This is from protest to power. Bernie Sanders is the main speaker. Alicia Garza is the opening keynote speaker after they go through some hello to everybody, and she is one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter. As a matter of fact, what I read, she came up with the slogan. So we're going to listen to her talk about a lot of stuff, and she's doing one of the workshops too, so that'll be cool. Starts at 7 a.m. proper. It's going to go till Bernie happens, which is about 3:30, 4 o'clock ish. I'll have to look at actually I have the schedule in front of my face. Let's look at the schedule, everybody. There it is. So these are central times because we are actually coordinating with Iowa CCI. Like Evan Berger and Scott Galindez, and we're gonna try to bring. Hang on, I'm just checking for issues here. We're all doing good, right? We're all online and watching this. Froze is saying she's having issues. Video says waiting for Uphill Media.
What?
Anyway, just making sure. It sounds like we got some technical issues. Hello, everybody, again. Here's the time. So Central Time, Bernie Sanders keynote at 3 p.m. All right, so that'll be 1 p.m. Pacific. So join us for that. This is going to be cool. In between times, so I think I'll have at least one German, maybe two Germans will be hanging out with me here because it's a Saturday show. Maybe Katie will drop by. Really, what we're doing is coordinating with these guys on, I'm this live stream, our live stream is the live stream. So Scott Galindez is there with the solo unit. Our Revolution is taking a raw feed, our feed that is going to Political Revolution TV. Remember Political Revolution TV? It can stream again. Still don't know why it was shut down, but they smacked me on the wrist and shut down streaming on Political Revolution TV. I'm using it again because it had 6,000 subscribers. That's good base. Anyway, that's got the raw feed. Our Revolution is going to pick up the raw feed and broadcast it on a page of theirs somewhere. So if you want to watch it there, we'll get that, and you can go watch Scott's feed. But Scott's feed is just going to be the main solo unit, and then when we go to the first workshop in the morning, he'll be pushing that, and then he'll come back for the afternoon event, and then he'll go do workshop 2, and then he'll come back for the evening event, and that'll be Bernie Sanders, right? So, and in between then, there's a lunch break where I think we're going to try to bring people in from the event and do interviews. And we're going to give me some videos to run and some content to look at and to have discussions. So this is, this is what I've been trying to do for 2 years. I mean, we've been doing it for 2 years. And during the primaries, we did work in coordination with a lot of other groups. But everything kind of fell apart after the election. And this is the first time it's really seemed to get back together, and the groups are organized again, and we're talking and we're networking, and it's happening. And this is the best coordination I've ever had. So I'm excited about it. So join us and please share the event, and absolutely know that something's going to go wrong because it will, but that's okay. just know that the reason that I'm messing things up, we're going to talk about that, is because there's so many things going on now that are happening on the ground. So many other things. This is what I wanted to have happen. This is what we wanted, right? We've worked really hard at this. Everybody in the Slack group, all the volunteers, is to see this expand to become something. My problem is I've reached my limit in how much I can hold at once without dropping balls, and I'm dropping. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that next, because I want to say thank you to Alan Parker. Even though you were a dick about it, you pointed out that I made a pretty huge mistake with the We the People show. I was really proud of We the People. Still am. But this is what happens when I try to do too many roles, and I got so much going on, and I built the rundown, and I did research. I was actually happy with my research on Paula Jean Swearingen. And I thought I had my shit together, and I was excited about all the things I practiced to say and to address, and the way I thought the show was going to flow. And it all went really well, and it was all really good, except when there was a little portion where I talked about West Virginia, but I showed Virginia stats, and I showed a Virginia map, and I misquoted stats talking about West Virginia, but I was looking at Virginia stats, which is exactly what we're tired of. I mean, it's a pretty grievous example of basically lying, right? I misinformed a bunch of people, not intentionally, and then I had to go back and I put in a big correction. Wow, can you believe the idiot that put, fucking map of Virginia in for West Virginia? And she was kind enough to just kind of work through it and talk. And the thing is, who it looks bad for is me and the channel. Paula Jean looked phenomenal. She did a great job. She answered questions. We got that great clip from Darcy, and it was phenomenal, right? And so that's when I get over the butt hurt, because I was all thrilled with the work until that, and then I go, you know what? It doesn't really matter. My personal view of the work. She got a good interview, and she had a great job with it. But it makes me say, for every We the People coming up, and I sent an email to Paula Jean's crew and Brand New Congress, Justice Democrats. I said, I'm sorry. That's not the kind of stuff I apologies. That doesn't, help. And they understand people make mistakes, but it shows the limitation of where I'm at. That I need people to help build rundowns, do research. I'm at my limit, especially because I'm now working to coordinate these events. We've got the pseudo-intellectuals on Sunday evening, and they're doing a great job building their shows. I just show up and we go through the thing and we do the show, right? And that's fun. Climate's working on that. We got a climate show, right? Saturday is the Bernie event. Sunday morning, the Progressive Democratic Party of Oregon is going to go through a dry run of their first show. And then the following Sunday morning will be their first show. So Sunday's full, and I got to, this is good. This is what I wanted. But I got to figure out how to balance that. So bottom line, what am I saying? What am I whining about? What I'm saying is, if there's anybody in my local area that wants to learn how to do what I do, portions of it, I'm a really good teacher. I actually have a lot of knowledge here. You just can't tell when I try to do it all at once. One-man bands are never really good, right? If they can do a few tunes, and they look funny, and they're great to see at a circus, but you wouldn't want to go see a one-man band for like a 3-hour concert like you would Rush, right? You'd be like, okay, dude, it's the same shit, man. You can only do so much. But that's where I'm at. I need somebody who wants to learn, come here, be with me in this place. What I have to offer is some knowledge. Working together, I can get you high. I don't have any money to pay you. There's all the food you can eat on this acre. You can take plants away, But I need somebody who's got time, and they have to have time to come do a rally or come with me to help work these shows. That's right now, that's an impossibility. Like, I don't think that exists. And I understand that. I mean, who the hell has that kind of time? I'm in a very unique, weird position, and I get that. Right. So I'm just throwing that out there, that maybe there's somebody in Corvallis, Albany area that's like, yeah, that's me. I'm a trust fund kid who really wants to just do that. Sorry. That just sounded crazy. I just said, and to everybody who is doing stuff now, everybody in the Slack, I mean, you realize that the only reason I'm able to keep up with what's going on is because you guys are keeping the engine moving so nice. Ashley Terry is doing cards, and everybody else is doing their thing, and Markus and Dennis and Katie have all said we need to pitch in and do with the Awake and help put things in, and they're gonna build like a Euro perspective segment and talk, and that's what needs to happen. That's great.
Not to forget Laura with her absolutely great contacts,
Laura building everything, and that's another thing. Like, We the People is becoming more important. Right? That was like the big We the People. There's going to be like 1,000 people who have seen it, and it's got a giant stupid in it. Yeah. Right? The Randy Bryce interview, great interview, could have had a lot of views, horrific audio. See what I'm saying? Like, if I'm going to benefit these politicians, I have to have the game good. Right? I can't dick around anymore. So.
Yeah. Damn, I so wish I was near in your area.
I know.
I would come every day directly after work, and we would get shit done, man. Fuck.
And after work is done, we would smoke something, drink a beer or something, talk about shit, what happened at the day, and have a great time together. Yeah.
We are
I
not
know.
talking about shit. No.
You guys. No, I appreciate that. Listen, it's. I'm just telling you where things are at. These are all good things. This is all good things, and I'm seeing your comments, everybody, and thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, of course, Barbara. Yes, I mean this is. Believe me, it's getting into as much local groups as I can. That's the thing is that I'm I don't get out much these days. And as far as using Slack and stuff, and I'm looking at what people say. I mean, it's you can come into Slack. What I need for people to do if they come into Slack is be aggressive about what they want to do to help. I'm not a volunteer organizer. I can train you. I can put you in a role. I can get you involved with something, but I'm not an organizer. I can't be the one reaching out. Right. So if you come into Slack, basically the general reason to be in there is to hang out in our BTV Slack and drop articles that are relevant and have discussion. If you want to be involved with anything else beyond that, you got to reach out. You got to let me know or Marcus know or Laura Live and Good. No, though Laura right now is so busy with booking people.
Yes.
You guys got to see this. I mean, now I got to book this other guy. It's this other guy. I'm trying to book Beto O'Rourke. I'm trying to have a communication with their person because it's just been difficult apparently. But this is what we got going on already. And it just keeps going. There are other people that we're talking to that aren't even on this list because we just don't have them on the list yet. I mean, I almost feel like I don't know, like I need to reform and think about it and redo what we're doing here because maybe this show becomes more important than I expected it to be and we focus effort there. I don't know. We're just at a different time and I got to figure it out. But I don't want to spend, what does Ashley say? You will receive infinite guidance from John if you are self-motivated to do the work. Oh, thank you. Yes, I won't ever shut up about giving you advice. That's for goddamn sure.
No, John. He meant when someone was trying to help you and to do further stuff for the show. That is what he meant.
No, I know.
With self-motivated.
I know. Absolutely. I know. I agree. I get that. Thank you, Ash. I appreciate that. I mean, Ash has been doing a lot of stuff. I'm excited about the Sunday night show. Look, I'm more excited about the fact that we have shows that I'm just direct producing, whatever you want to call it, engineering producer, whatever. That's what I wanted to do. So I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that. These events, like the one tomorrow, has just got me freaked out because I'm a one-man band with it. I'm gonna have Marcus and Dennis, and I'll have like support with people online, but I got to be here, basically pulling levers and switches, and it's a little more complicated than a normal awake show, and it requires more diligence and professionalism than an awake show. I can't go, excuse me, Milo. But anyway, this is cool. It is Exploding Bev, and it's very cool. And Keith, I haven't mailed anybody seeds because the last people that requested it, I need some addresses from. Wesley, Naomi, hello. You said you were gonna get me an address. And if there's anybody else that needs seeds at this point that haven't received seeds, I've either forgotten or forgot. Yeah, forgot. And so just email me again, info@bernie2016.tv, and we'll try to get you seeds. I got lots of seeds. Happy to send you some. Get them started, please. All right. Moving on into other stuff. There's actually some things we should probably talk about. Let me make sure I covered all the important things here. Top stories, Virginia. We talked. Okay, so I just wanted to make it clear with Virginia that I really messed up there. Thank you, Alan Parker. Although your delivery was a little harsh, but there.
It was.
And I agree with you, Alan. I am not an interviewer. Okay, 100%. Bernie Sanders won't take 2020 off the table.
Yes.
Thank God. Thank all the gods in the world.
Nothing is confirmed yet, but
no.
It is good that he says he's considering it.
Yeah. Come on. He's on early campaign right now. He's like, damn, Marcus, the sun just blasted you in the face? Holy shit.
Yes, yeah. It was raining all day long, and exactly now it's the sun is shining directly into my face. What
Marcus, it's not the sun; it's the Holy Spirit that's getting hold of you.
my halo instead of my back head went to my front head. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, John Warren, this Virginian forgives you, Johnny. You want to know the saddest? Thank you, I appreciate that. You want to know the saddest thing, Marcus? I'm glad you're not a vampire. That's all I'm going to say. Because boy, you'd be toast. But you look nice. The sunlight looks so nice on you. See, everybody, that's natural light right there on Marcus.
Right. Okay. I think it's a little bit too vampire-ish.
It's a little bright, and you could use a bit of a tan. But it's been raining in Germany. Listen, I was born in Virginia, everybody. That was probably why I grabbed Virginia. I was born in Virginia, and I lived there until 1976. And then we moved to Colorado. So, yeah. I mean, I was a big John Denver fan. Country boy, take me home. So, I was really, really extra embarrassed that I got that wrong. Just because. So, this Virginian says, I don't forgive myself for being a dumbass. Anyway. There you go. Marcus is glowing.
Looks like Jesus.
That's not a harp death ray. Do you know what harp is?
A harp is, yes, the music instrument which you're going to play when you're on a cloud. No, okay.
No, not that kind of harp. Although I'm sure the U.S. would sell the harp missile as that.
So what is a harp?
Thank you, Barb. My Andrew Feinstein interview was pretty good. I talk too much, but I do that anyway. Jilly Love, you're mentioning the HARP missile. If we're talking about the same thing, I saw a thing on this. This was the U.S. attempt to shoot a missile into space, a bullet into space to launch things. They actually did it. They did it. I think I was watching a thing on that. It was the most ridiculous thing. They were trying to find a way to get an instrument into space to take them some telemetry guidance or do something, and they built a giant ass, like the largest dick extension you've ever seen, to shoot that thing in space. And they did it. It was just really loud, and it caused a lot of problems for the residents of whatever island that they took over to do it. And, Anyway. Driving 81 is so boring in Virginia. 81? In particular? Driving... Go 82. Is that more exciting? What? Please explain that.
Come on, guys. Come to Germany. Use your Autobahn, where you can drive as fast as you like in some sections.
Yes. We don't have an Autobahn, unfortunately. Oh, okay, so I'm getting different explanations on HARP. High Altitude Atmospheric Research Program. No, and it's not THAAD either, Jilly Love. It's not THAAD. No, this was another program from the 60s. This was a program during the space program that I was watching on History Channel or something the other day. Look, somebody Google that and find it. You'll laugh your ass off at this thing. The remnants of that gun are somewhere. That's what it was. It was like, there was that show where they're looking at stuff that's falling apart. Why is this here? What was this? Right? Which is happening all over the place. So it's a pretty easy show to do. Robert, is that what you're talking about? High frequency active oral research program HARP was it? I think that's what you're talking about. It was a big bullet. Anyway, not even the point. Bernie Sanders is saying everything Bernie Sanders is doing, it looks like he's getting ready to run. So good for you, Bernie. And if you had any, I've been calling him British Bernie for a while, right? Out of just love and respect. But Jeremy Corbyn says, I got my ideas from Bernie Sanders. So he really is the British Bernie. And the meme about it is great. Somebody dropped a meme, which was fantastic. And it basically said, Bernie called him on the phone and said, hey, I wanted to talk to you about your ideas. Where did you get them? And he's like, you. That's two older socialists. Great.
Yes, you know that I like Jeremy Corbyn too, but there's one thing which really disturbs me about him.
Yeah.
He's still playing with the younger people, with the future of the young people. What Brexit concerns, he has no clear position or I sense he has a position that he follows Brexit as well as the Conservatives do. And if it comes to new elections, those who want to remain in the European Union they don't have no choice. They don't have no choice to vote for the Tories because they want a hard Brexit, nor they have the choice to vote Jeremy Corbyn because he wants kind of soft Brexit. And this is disturbing me, you know. And in this point, he's not comparable to Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders is straight in every point what he's talking about.
Interesting. So you don't trust Jeremy Corbyn?
I would expect from Jeremy Corbyn that he presents an alternative to the Brexit at all, because it was 52% to 48%. Of course, it was a win, but look, the country is divided.
Right.
And if you look at the latest comment of the European Commission, that what they get from the UK is ridiculous. And then there is Boris Johnson who say if the European Union doesn't want what we suggest, then they can go whistle. And the European Commission replies to this provocation. They say they don't hear any whistling; they only hear a clock ticking. And it is going to be horrible if it comes to a so-called hard Brexit. It would ruin the UK within a year or two.
So what do you think you should do? Should they revote? Could they revote?
It is a good question. I would expect from him that he would offer a new referendum, and it should happen very fast, because the clock is ticking, and March 2019 it is over for the UK. And they are standing alone. They have still no treaty. They should have an army going around now with people who are making contacts for deals. I hear nothing about it. They have now access to 95 markets through the European Union. They would stand completely alone. Only they have a windy offer of Donald Trump. And he is a business guy, and he knows that the UK has to take everything that he offers. They have no choice. And the situation, in my opinion, looks very, very, very bad for the UK now.
Well, yeah, because, and yes, Justin Bryce, I've seen the chant. It is amazing. Every business deal he's tried to work so far has pretty much been a failure since the carrier deal screwed people. I don't even know why the UK would consider him reasonable to deal with at all. Why would they hedge their bets on that? He's going to be gone. I don't. It just blows my mind. Mays
John, you have to differ. You have to differ between the people and the politicians and the elites.
Wow.
You can't say the whole Britain is waiting for Trump. It's the conservatives and the 1%ers in Britain who are waiting for it.
Right. The same bubble of non-reality.
But let's move on.
I see. I just see in chat, and I really like it that there are some our viewers are opposing to what I think, and it's absolutely okay if they do. It is. I can only repeat myself. It is only what I see. It is only through my perspective, and of course it is not a generalized perspective for Germany or for everyone. But I have to clear this. He still uses both options because both parties, or both Brexiters and Remainers, give him votes. And if he decides for one side, he has to fear that he loses votes. And this is a gamble. This is a kind of gamble. We don't have to forget this. And I absolutely agree with most of the points Corbyn says. But compared to Bernie Sanders is no gambler in this. In my perspective, he is straight in what he says. The voter knows what he gets from Bernie. And this is a small thing of which disturbs me about Corbyn. Although I completely support him in many other things he says. Just to clear it up.
All right. Well, you're fine. You're not bashing Corbyn.
No, not at all.
No, we'll see. We'll see what has to happen. Invictus says it's not that simple. I know Invictus had been talking about saying you were wrong, and I don't know enough of the details about it to really understand. All I can say is that at least you have Corbyn, and at least it looks like at this point Corbyn may be in power and may at some point may be gone from power. And whatever happens then, you've got somebody in office who seems to have at least some sense of morals and ethics and a conscience and is capable of speaking. So much better off than we are right now. Anyway. Which email for seeds? info@bernie2016.tv. All right, I'm going to move on from that, but that was cool. We're going to talk about, this is a historic moment. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. British Bernie. Ground game, my last cop story. You ready? We're going to look at 3 cop stories really quick. And then I'm going to tell you I'm done with cop stories. I got nothing more to say. The first one is this one. Racist cops in Florida decided to pull over this black woman until they found out she was an attorney.
You're good. What agency are you with?
I'm the state attorney.
State attorney. All right. Thank you. Your tag didn't come back. Never seen that before. We're good now.
So it was.
We ran the tag. I've never seen it before. A Florida tag. It's never come back to anything before. So that's the reason for the stop.
What was the tag run for?
I'm sorry?
What was the tag run for?
Oh, we run tags all the time, whether it's at traffic lights and that sort of stuff. That's how we figure out if, cars are stolen and that sort of thing. Also, the windows were really dark. I don't have a tint measurer, but that's another reason for the stop.
All right. Do you guys have cards on you?
Yeah, 1 second. Actually, this isn't my car, but I can write my name down if you'd like. There you are. Have a good day.
That's a racist cop who racially profiled a vehicle with a black woman in it and then found out that she was state attorney. I hope that cop loses his job.
Next
She can
story.
be happy that she was not shot like the other officer.
Absolutely.
And,
This is the story of a police were looking for a man wielding a machete, weighing 150 pounds. They beat up and handcuffed a young girl without a machete on a bicycle who weighed less than 115 pounds. The reason she resisted arrest. That's why. They said she resisted arrest. I got nothing more on that one. Final story. Final
was
story.
something that really pisses me off.
Is an officer beating a mentally ill woman, and I don't really know why.
What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Oh.
Let it go, I'm gonna shoot you.
No, please, don't shoot him.
And that's my last cop
Hang
story.
that police officer. Hang him.
I'm sorry, Dennis. What?
Oh God. I have to calm down myself when I see something like this.
Yes.
And I can really understand every man and woman in America who got outraged about this, but I never seen something like this happen in my area. It's something not in my imagination when I see something like this. But hey, guys, I'm so sorry that you guys have so stupid cops in America who don't respect you, don't recognize your rights, and so on. So, yeah.
Thank you, Dennis.
Sorry.
That's my last cop story. I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing objective to say about cops. I'm not their friend. I've got no respect, no trust. I'm done. The only thing I can think of now when I think of cops is violence, rage, hatred, outrage, disgust. I got nothing. There are no good cops. I don't know where they are. I can't even rely on Mike Butler anymore. He's there. He's doing his job with his people. But they're a little bubble. I don't see those bubbles. I see that. Thugs that have been given power by the people they serve, beating the shit out of the people they serve, murdering the people they serve. There have been 23 murders this month by cops. 23 murders. That's more than most unindustrialized countries in a fucking year. It's like there's it's ridiculous. Our cops are out of control. They don't abide by the same laws that they hold us to. They treat us like they're some kinds of gods or knights that get to do as they please. And my message is publicly to all cops: I'm your enemy. I don't trust you. I don't respect you. And I will not listen to your authority. I will not abide by it. And if I ever see a cop doing that to another citizen, I will take it upon myself to relieve you of that and end you. My fists will come out and I will be violent against any officer I see doing something like that. I will not stand for it. And no human being should have to stand for that. I am not a friend of the police until I see the police actually do their fucking jobs and serve and protect the people that pay their wage. And I don't see that. All I see is red. That's my last cop story. Because I'll never be able to cover a cop story again, good or bad, objectively. I'm done. They've burned the bridge. There's no forgiveness. I'm done. Somebody else is going to have to cover the police. Somebody else is going to have to tell the good stories. Which is fine. Because I don't see them. And I know you guys don't want me covering them anyway. So we're moving on. We're moving on to the positive stuff. Just know that we're going to have a war with our police at some point. Because the courts back the cops. That scene right there happened a while ago. And the cop back at work. That video was released just recently. Imagine had we never seen that. Makes that guy even more disgusting. Makes me want to see his head slammed up against the wall. Makes me just think violent, horrible thoughts. Which makes me just as bad as that piece of shit. So I have to back away from my own health. But God help the cop that I see abuse a citizen. That is my public threat to all police. Here's one of those rare cases where the court recognizes that bullshit's bullshit. Remember the Code Pink woman that was arrested for laughing when they stated that Jeff Sessions had actually done a fair and balanced job as a whatever? So the judge tossed this out after the prosecutor tried to say that, oh, she did much more than laugh. It was horrible and we can't have that in our... They called it, ruining the decorum of the legal system or whatever. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're all a bunch of rat finks that buy and sell people's lives. And you're worried about somebody violating procedure in a fucking courtroom? It's unbelievable hypocrisy from one of the most corrupt judicial systems in the history of the world. Anyway, the judge said, bullshit. Get her out of here. So charges were dropped. That's nice.
You
Really
should
good.
have an additional amendment, in my opinion. You have freedom of speech, you need freedom of laughter.
Yes. Well, you would think they're the same. You would think. You would. Anyway. Just real quick on mentally ill patients. I didn't even know you could put mentally ill inmates in solitary confinement, much less keep them in there. I've been in solitary confinement. I was thrown in there for 3 days back when I was somewhere between the ages of 18 and 25. I actually don't know. I was really wasted on drugs, and it was a deal that was worked out, and I was tossed in jail, Arapahoe County. I was in 3 days of solitary, and I almost lost my mind. Actually, I kind of probably did. It was the most inhumane thing that had ever happened to me, other than getting the shit beat out of me by a cop, but that was in Gilpin County. I couldn't imagine being mentally ill and being in solitary. I can't imagine any human being. Solitary is inhumane, folks. Keeping a person locked in a cell by themselves for 22 hours a day is inhumane. If you want to take somebody and turn them into an ugly being or something that just wants to kill themselves, that is the best way to do it. If we're going to have restorative justice at all, if we want to reintegrate any of these people into our society at all, you can't be putting them in solitary. I don't care what they've done. That's horrific. It turns a human into just an animal that doesn't give a fuck about other human beings because they've been separated from other human beings. You're making matters worse. And the idea that we put mentally ill people in solitary confinement is abhorrent and disgusting and makes me want to do even more violent things to the people that run this fucking prison system. We have lots of things to fix in our legal and prison systems. We really do. We really do. On to more happy things. Ground game stuff, for fuck's sake.
Good.
Right? Because we do have some good stuff, and you guys saw some. You guys saw some of that. This is kind of cool because it was sent to us by the Beto people because we're talking to them, right? So this just wasn't a press release. This came and said, hey guys, mention this. So we're going to mention this. This is a video that Beto did talking about the campaign money that they've raised, which is a lot of money. Here we go.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Look, I just heard some great news about the campaign. We raised more than $2 million over the last 3 months from more than 45,000 unique donations, most of them from Texas, every one of them wanting to take back our state, take back the Senate, and take back this country. And not a single dime came from PACs or special interests or corporate donors. It all came from people like you. So I just wanted to stop and say thank you. Tell you I'm looking forward to working with you going forward, and I'm also looking forward to celebrating a terrific victory in 2018.
Woo!
Cool.
And I'm also looking forward to having him on We the People as soon as we can coordinate a date, which I'm not sure why that's so hard. Anyway, exciting to have him on there. that little bit of a, oh, hey, I didn't see you there. That's I like that. Anyway. Remember, what are you talking about, Mark? I'm just looking at you guys' comments. Remember the police busting cameras before the munched the edibles. Not sure what you're talking about there. Not sure what you're talking about. Anyway, glad we moved on to positive subjects. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in my rundown here. Beto raises, but oh, here. Do you want to see the card? There. Markus edited the card today, everybody. You want to tell him what you did, Markus?
No.
Okay, fine.
I did only minor changes. These damn motherfucker.
So nobody likes my use of commas, or my lack of commas, periods, and my use of capital letters on everything, which I just consider titling on an event card. Everybody else wants to make it a correct sentence, like Ashley, Terry, Ashley. Anyway.
And John called me grammar Nazi.
I did, which is wholly inappropriate. Remember I said that the use of that is just inappropriate now that we have actual Nazis happening again?
It is also here common in Germany, this expression.
Oh, so that's acceptable? You can say that?
Yeah, you cannot say this, but it is known here. You know, for people who are picking or who are checking the details and who are, guys
right.
like me, for example.
You don't say grammar Nazi because you can't say that. Right. Anyway, all right. So, would you do this? The next story is kind of interesting because it's, would you do this instead? So I'm asking you all out there right now, American drinkers, would you do this instead? 73% of Democrats would give up drinking for Trump impeachment. I thought that was quite a commitment, right? I mean, that's a big commitment. There's also a number of 31% of Republicans would do the same.
let me tell you, John, 73%, they all were completely drunk when they said that.
Well, of course. Actually, I have my numbers wrong. 70% of Republicans would give up alcohol for Trump's impeachment, and 31% of Republicans would give up drinking if it meant the media stopped writing negative things about President Trump. How do you stop writing facts? Anyway, and you're right, Marcus. They were probably all drunk when they said that. Right?
Exactly.
I'd give it up. They've got weed now. See, that's that.
Maybe.
but the question is, would you guys give up alcohol if it meant the impeachment of Trump, knowing that Pence would come in? Think about that. Pence is in. You can't drink anymore. Trump's out. Was that really worth it? Not for me. And I don't even drink. I wouldn't even make that change. If you were like, give up weed, I'm like, no. You'd have to put Bernie in office, tell me all of the establishment is gone, right? And I have to get my floating command center. You give me all those things, and I'll quit weed, maybe. No, still wouldn't. Anyway. That's just... My question to you is, instead of giving up drinking to make it happen, would you just join your local government? Would you be active in government instead of quitting drinking? You could drink and be active in local government. Bonus, most people do now. So why don't you just do that instead? If you're willing to give up something that you enjoy, like alcohol, assuming these people enjoy alcohol, maybe they all hate it. Maybe it was 73% of, maybe they're all out AA. I don't know. But if you're willing to give up something, Why aren't you willing to do something? Is it easier to give up than to do? I don't know. I'm just curious. Just ask. Just ask. We're going to watch that clip that Darcy put together because it's great. And we're going to listen to what Paula Jean had to say about how she's going to beat Joe Manchin. Because unless we really do get it together and we can raise $10 million or so, which I think is probably, we're going to need $20 million for her. She's going to have to, we are going to have to help her. We're going to have to not just give up drinking. We're going to have to go out or maybe drink and then go out and help her get elected, knock on doors, talk to people. She needs votes. And she's going to get votes over Joe Manchin, not by raising a bunch of money and putting out ads, but by knocking door to door in West Virginia and getting people to go, oh yeah, I want to vote for you, not Joe. Right? So listen to her.
Donors are the people. I'm not taking large donations. We're building a movement of people with brand new Congress that is not taking corporate money. People are going to invest in a candidate that's going to serve them. There's a clear difference between being a friend of the coal industry and being a friend of a coal miner.
Our streams run orange and black. Who's going to clean up the mess when coal's gone, Senator?
His second top donor is Mylan, and his daughter's the CEO of Mylan, so you can connect the dots. Look at the opioid abuse in West Virginia. He's been pitching that he was going to combat that. 455 pills to give to every man, woman, and child. And then his second top donor is Mylan, and his daughter's the CEO of Mylan. So, what is he going to do?
How are you planning on beating Joe Manchin in 2018 when we know you're probably not going to be able to raise the tens of millions of dollars that he's got? We've got to do it a different way. What are you planning on doing?
I don't need money, I need votes. I don't care about the money. And you know what? We have the ability, like we're doing tonight, to raise voices, to have outreach with social media now. We do have that advantage that we didn't used to have.
Absolutely.
And people are uniting all over West Virginia. And voices are being raised, and we're going to continue to power build, and we're going to continue to unite. And we're going to build a powerful campaign, because this is not my campaign. This campaign is for West Virginia.
Isn't that nice? Oh man, and he even had the Uphill Media logo on it too.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's really well done. Thank you, Darcy. That's Darcy with At Home Activism. Got another one starting here. I mean, that's cool. And I love what Paula Jean had to say. That's working together. That's we do the interview, somebody else takes time to editing, cut it up. Yeah. So that's really cool. Well, thank you, Chris Bailey. I appreciate that. I worked hard on that interview, even though I didn't know my states. And I did not know Milan EpiPen. I didn't make that connection there, but I thought that was a great opportunity for her to explain it all, right? I didn't know the daughter. You think about this for a second. I should have said this then. I was too busy like going back and forth between shots, which is one of the reasons why things get bad. But when Joe Manchin told Cenk Uygur on TYT that he didn't know his donors, and Milan is the second donor, and his daughter is the CEO, he doesn't know his own daughter? Or that she donated? I don't know. Just curious. Robert, she does have laser eyes. She does. Oh my God! When she's talking to Manchin, when she's saying who's gonna clean up the water, and she's like frying him.
It was she. Okay. Now I can.
I think it was she. Yeah. I just and Melissa H. Just to back up a few seconds. One of my favorite typos ever is when you go to say doing in chat and it comes out dong. How you dong?
we have a say here in Germany: if eyes could kill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If eyes could kill, we would give Paula Jean a license, and she'd be double old Paula.
And you know what, John? When I just saw the Uphill Media logo, I would like to have a T-shirt with that logo in big, with a big logo on it.
I think that would be great. Who's?
What do you guys in chat say?
I think it's great. Ashley can get you that logo.
Cool.
If you want to do that, we can do that. All right. Moving on, we're gonna listen to Bernie Sanders. Bernie's gonna we just needed a bump of Bernie. This is a Bernie bump, right? It's not like just cut up a little quick one. Bernie bump. Did you guys? Marcus knows what I'm talking about. How many of you know what I'm talking? Yeah, that was my late '80s, '90s, folks. Who was it? It was Kim. Was it Kim Kardashian? Somebody recently was doing some kind of a quick live thing, and on her kitchen counter, behind her is two lines. And everybody was like, "Hey, what you got there?" And she was trying to pass it off as something else, like, "This is just, Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh my God! I just thought that was funny. Here you go. Here, listen to Bernie. We need a Bernie bump. Just here it is. That's oh my gosh. That's what we need as an intro to these. We need a Bernie bump. Somebody sounds like they're cutting line on a mirror.
That the Trump supporter is drawn to at this point, if they look at the policies and how it impacts their lives, because he has his base. It's there.
He has its base, but I think, Mika, that base is shrinking the more people learn about his policies. But the base is that he ran an effective campaign and he said, I'm going to take on the establishment and I'm going to stand up for the working class of this country that has so long been ignored. And in my view, the Democratic Party has not done a good job in standing up for the working class of this country. And I think he captured that sentiment pretty effectively.
Where did the Democratic Party go wrong?
Well, for the last many, many years, the Democratic Party has been spending too much money, too much time raising money from its wealthy friends, turning its back on rural America, turning its back on the working class, talking about deregulating Wall Street, talking about not paying attention to the needs of people whose standard of living has been in decline. Now, Obama, in my view, did a reasonable job. We were better off after his 8 years economically than we were when he came in. But the fact of the matter is, for 40 years, the middle class of this country has been in decline. We're looking at massive levels of income and wealth inequality. 52% of all new income today is going to the top 1%. All right, you have large multinational corporations making billions, not paying a nickel in taxes. The average American understands that. Working 2 or 3 jobs, all of the wealth and income is going to the people on top. Who's talking to their needs? Who's going to Kentucky and Mississippi and Alabama and saying, we're going to stand with you, we're prepared to take on corporate America and Wall Street and the big money?
Well, I was going to ask.
There's a lot more that's going on there than we're talking about. Because what's happening with Morning Joe and what's happening with Bernie Sanders on MSM right now is the signals a shift that, for the most part, is going to benefit us. Right? And that is that there's more people in the United States of America right now watching TV that are pissed off at the government, pissed off at what's going on, and interested in what Bernie has to say, that Bernie brings the ratings, which means progressive brings the ratings. So you're going to hear more and more of this talk because it's oppositional to the government. It's what brings the ratings. Doesn't really matter what Morning Joe thinks. Doesn't really matter what the network thinks. The network's like, we need this. This is going to keep an argument going. And so we're going to have an opportunity through MSM to sway more people over to the message. And that's really what's going on there. That's exciting to see in my mind. What do you think, Marcus? You're skeptical.
I'm
Dennis?
very skeptical about it because they didn't change. What has changed? They are now doing good journalism because it's against Trump. But I bet as soon as Trump is gone and another one is there, and Bernie would be a clear danger for corporations and their sponsors, the narrative would change the same minute, and we would see exactly what we did in the past during the primaries.
But the people are used to that now. They're not going to be forgiving on the ratings. They know how to dump a station. They know how to kill a station's ratings, right? I mean, CNN's ratings are in the toilet right now.
I read it different, that they are now, as Trump is president, the ratings for MSNBC and CNN are raising. Especially with Rachel Maddow. She's now number one. Now as that other idiot from Fox, Bill O'Reilly, is gone.
CNN is doing, the last stats I saw, CNN was doing poorly. MSNBC may be doing lovely, but I was just talking about CNN. The difference here is that they're talking how much Bernie Sanders has had more airtime now than he ever got in the primaries.
What's a shame? That's a shame.
And he's saying what he wants to say. They're not. Look, the difference is in how they're talking to him. They're letting him get out his full talking points. They're not arguing bullshit with him. They were arguing bullshit with him. If you go back a year, or if you go back into the primaries a year, and listen to them, all they come back to is, but you're a socialist. People call you a socialist. People don't really like the word socialist. Are you a socialist? Yes. What does that mean? You're being social. They were just pounding the shit out of it. They can't even talk about that anymore. The ratings go down, you mentioned that word, because people don't give a shit anymore. They're like, yeah, Bernie Sanders, socialist, we get it, move on.
I think what their profits concern are the media, though they might lose ratings, are exactly the same like the DNC.
Right.
They don't want to give this to a social democrat, and they are not allowed to do it. And what is the guarantee? They in the primaries they treated Bernie like shit, no question. Now they are more friendly. This doesn't guarantee that when the next primaries are going on, that they wouldn't change them again and treat him like shit again. I don't trust. I don't trust the mainstream media.
But he's getting the airtime. I guess you're worried about what could happen in the future, but they're having the conversation now. They had all these conversations with Trump. Think about what it did for Trump. They gave him airtime. They listened to what he had to say. They had all the conversations. They're turning on him now.
Good point.
Okay,
good point.
I'm just saying. You can argue that, but right now, let's take what we get. In war, we take what we get. And Bernie knows how to work that battlefield. I'm not saying it's a great. I'm not saying, look at it.
If it could work out for Bernie like it did for Trump, I'm totally fine with it. But my trust in the mainstream media is very, very limited from after what I saw, what I witnessed during the primaries. Because for me, as a German, as a European, it was unbelievable. I saw Bernie getting more and more attention and more crowds behind him, and seeing suddenly that the complete game is pushed against him, that he had no chance. It was, for me, I am used to fair elections. It was for me absolutely, I couldn't understand it. I was completely under shock.
It's like watching a cop beat a mentally ill person.
This is why I'm fucking still here.
I know. That's why we're all. Agreed. It's why we're all still here. I mean, that's absolutely the point. I want to just back up on some comments real quick. what'd you say, Paula? You said you agree that it will help. Listen, think of them as mercenaries. I don't trust them either. Right? Think of MSM as they're mercenaries. They're just propaganda agents, and they're going to work for whoever brings the ratings to the yard, right? Whatever brings in the advertiser dollars. And if right now the advertiser dollars are going to come from the progressive side of the road, that's what I'm saying. Is if advertisers advertisers are shifting here and there because they need to support social causes or they lose their customer base. Do you see this? Do you see how this has been positioned? That we, through social media and our consumer purchasing and negative attacks on businesses, have forced businesses to leave programs, forced businesses to change their positions, forced businesses to do better because we can destroy them in social. The moment their stock value starts to drop because we have killed them negatively in social, they start deciding they have a fucking moral compass. And if we can get advertisers, progressive advertisers, to advertise on channels, MSM channels, because Bernie Sanders is showing up on that channel, right? I just want you to remember how much airtime Trump got, how little airtime Bernie got. And what's happening right now is that all the airtime for Trump is negative. There's no positive coming out. Even Fox News is having a hard time making a positive story because they're being attacked. That's right. We have a very different situation. It's Skank Hunt, my propaganda brings all the boys to the yard. Exactly. Eco Beyonce is nice looking woman.
What?
We're gonna get to the Trump ogling Mrs. Macron. We're gonna get to that because that was, I thought, the best. That's just the icing. It sets up everything for today. It really does. And the media I'm sure the media will attack Bernie again in 2020. But at that point, listen, this is the best. So let's say from here through midterms, the media does nothing but help Bernie Sanders and the progressive movement. It's good for ratings, and stations are going to shift around and pivot and change, okay? And then we head into the real active season going into the next presidency, and we start to see these networks shift, and we got to work for the corporations, and we got to start supporting this and that and the other Trump team or whatever's going on, Team Pence, whatever scary thing that looks like, and yes, we will see the media shift again, but at this point in time, they'll have a very different viewer base, and they'll have a very different group of Americans. They will have a whole bunch more information that has been fed to them for quite some time. They will have gone through a midterm elections, which hopefully will see some sweeping changes across the country. And there will be a lot of different people in power. Think about that. By the time they're ready to turn on the progressive movement again, the progressive movement and the people that are watching MSM and thinking about the progressive movement are going to be huge. Huge. You've got Joe Scarborough, an independent. That is going to help shift the dial. No matter how much we dislike them and how mercenary they are in their desire for profit and ratings, which is really all they care about, they're going to lose on that, and they know they're going to lose on that when they start battling Bernie Sanders and the progressive movement that they're propping up right now.
Yeah, to be kind of fair to Joe Scarborough, in my perception, he was among all those news mercenaries. He was one of those guys who treated Bernie during the primaries with a kind of respect, with much more respect, in my opinion, than all the others. And
yeah.
So I give him a little bit credit. We will see how far he goes as an independent now.
And Morning Joe was the first who said the Democrats rigged the election. So therefore, I give them credit.
But we don't have to forget they made Trump.
They did.
MSNBC, mostly a product of MSNBC.
Yes, they helped make Trump. Oh, you're giving me ratings. What are these ratings? You know who? Maddow's number one. Hannity, MSNBC's Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Fox News and MSNBC finished in a near tie last night. Interesting. I didn't know. Maddow was number one. Hannity's Hannity. I thought Hannity. Anyway, whatever. Scarborough can get away with saying the truth. They won't fire him. That's how convenient. A journalist can get away with telling the truth and not get fired? No. Not sure I believe
Not
that.
in today's terms.
Springfield Progressive, you're absolutely true. Maine just passed ranked choice voting, and I had talked about that a while back. I think I talked about it when it was at Assembly, and we were waiting to see if it was going to go all the way through, and that's fantastic. I think that's fantastic. Here, we're moving on into some. This is a little bit of the reason why mainstream media is having some butthurt, guys. It's because they have to adapt to social media. They have to adapt to the fact that things can just come out. This is hilarious. There was a journalist. I mean, it's sad for the journalist. This guy who has been working on the Don Jr. email story for a year, trying to get the information, and he tweeted it out when Don Jr. basically spilled the beans. It says, Jared Yates Sexton, I worked on this story for a year, and he just tweeted it out. And he was... You know, I would be definitely sad about it myself if I had worked really hard on this story, and then Don Jr. just blurts the whole thing out. Yep, I had these emails. Here they are. Talk to people. And what happened, what I love about the internet, is they turned it into a meme. Here's Jessica Roy. I worked on this story for a year, and he just tweeted it out, and the tweet is Donald Trump Jr. I've never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke. What a lovely quote from me. Anyway, I just thought that was hilarious. What this tells media, times have changed. Times have changed. The internet, social media, our ability to communicate with each other and our ability to get information off the net is changing corrupt people's ability to hide stuff, mostly, right? And that's it's making it unpredictable as well. That's what I love about this, is that we have more power in our hands with the internet than I think we and the government realize, although some people in the FCC probably realize that. Anyway, just keep that in mind. It's it's a good tool. Imagine what happens when that thing becomes sentient. We're on to climate, guys. We really are. It's the last like 10 minutes. That's it. This is important though. We've been talking about these stories coming out. I think I have a different opinion than a lot of mainstream climate folks, and I just want to get I want to take your temperature on this. I'm seeing a lot of articles come out, you know, dissing the New York Post article, New York Times article about uninhabitable planet. Basically, there's a lot of scientists and a lot of other articles doing a big pushback on the doomsday scenario articles that are coming out about climate change. And I don't understand that at all. I don't understand that at all. We've worked so hard for decades, most of these climate scientists for decades, just to get people to listen. And now that you've got people listening and putting out some scary articles about it, which really, in my opinion, are more close to true than your more conservative, quiet versions, you're telling people to relax and not get so excited. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Everybody. This is NOAA. This is the government. I don't understand this. NOAA avoids mentioning human activity and release on soaring greenhouse gases. They said they put it in another supplemental thing. I don't understand what's going on here. I just don't. Like 2 years ago, it was a planetary crisis. Now we're being told, but don't push a doomsday scenario. Make up your fucking minds. It is a doomsday scenario, folks. There are people dying right now. There's species going extinct right now. Why would we want to pamper this? And the cover card says Al Gore named it in 2006. He said it was an inconvenient truth, and we still consider it inconvenient. It's been decades. We're still looking at it like it's inconvenience. No, it's the death of our species. And some people are like, that makes me uncomfortable. That's too inconvenient for me, for you to be pushing these doomsday scenarios. Can we back off a little bit and make it a little more pleasant for the rest of America? Because we in America need to just have it nice and cozy and calm, and it needs to go like Hollywood, and it needs to be like TV. You know, that when we combat climate change, it's going to be like the movie Armageddon. And Bruce Willis, and he's going to drop in, and we're going to shoot a space shuttle up there, and they're going to fucking save everything, and Elon Musk will wear a cape. In the meantime, millions of people are dying right fucking now. Dying now from climate change, from our actions decades ago. But for some reason, we can't be bothered with the doomsday scenario. We have to relax and calm down. You're out of your fucking minds. And you're inhuman. If you really think we should just relax about these scenarios and not mobilize on climate or not try to push it as hard as we can or as fast as we can, the idea from a scientist that we're just going to pull it out at the end, that's disgusting. It's unconscionable. You're saying it's okay for however many people have to die now while we wait for us to get our shit together. That's disgusting. I can't believe you would even think that. Any scientist that's going along with that, and there are scientists that have said that. Fuck you. I want to save everybody. Now. And we could. That's the thing, we could. We have all the resources, all the power, all the money, we have the people. When India can plant however many fucking amount of trees, they planted some insane amount of trees. They've done this twice. They get a whole bunch of their people together and they all do something together. It's not that hard to do. If we can put people in space, we can all get together and save our fucking planet. And let's do it now. It may be inconvenient, but a whole lot less of people will die. Doesn't that mean anything to anybody? I don't know.
And it will get much more inconvenient, as you say, because I saw the latest numbers from Africa, and with the year 2050, the population in Africa will be doubled. So now you can imagine with climate change, with refugees, with the unstable situations in some African countries, it would be a big run, and if we don't change, every one of us has to change, and we cannot go on like this. And
agreed, Mark. It's just look, we're preaching to the choir here. You know we are.
Yeah, I know.
All you in the audience, you know this stuff.
I know.
We're just sharing frustration. You know, it's hard to know that we could do it, and we work hard every day to try to make it happen. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
And no. You're not a lost cause, John Warren, because you're addicted to meat. I like meat too. We're omnivores. It's about developing an infrastructure for all of humanity that allows us to do animal husbandry in a ethical fashion, right? There's ways to get back to that. We don't have to give things up. We have to evolve. We haven't evolved to the number of us living on this planet that we needed to. We have not cared for each other that well, sadly. And we need to do that, all of us together. That's been the problem. All of us, like not just humans and animals. This is Markus dropped this story, and I had seen this and thought about running. I'm glad he dropped it. But Raven Evermore, I love that. Ravens can plan for the future. They did some freaky experiments with ravens, and most animals. That whole thing about bird brain, that's bullshit. By the way, birds are really fucking smart.
Oh yeah,
birds are really smart, and they can imprint on a human being. Geese can imprint on a human being and have relationships like dogs and cats. We had a goose that came by and hung out with us when I lived on the river, the Willamette River, and we would throw it cherries from the boat, catch them in the mouth. Anyway, back to ravens. So most animals, they can store stuff for the winter, like to store a bunch of nuts and fruits or whatever, hide it somewhere, and that's pretty typical. That's animal behavior. But ravens can think ahead. Think, if you're giving me objects and I've learned what these objects do, which they can learn what they do, in relation to storing things, they can choose an object, they can wait and barter with something they have for another object, knowing that's what they want. That's some pretty advanced thinking behavior. That's something that we've only seen in human beings and great apes. And now ravens. That's freaky shit. That's cool. That's brain development beyond what we understand. We understand so very little about brains, especially our own. And if you think about evolution, my big thing about that was we're now learning so much about how animal brains work and how our own brain works. And really, if you think about it, all we're at right now is a particular level of development within a species. If we know how to look at our genetic imprint now. We're going to be able to, I think, forward that at some point. Where does our brain development go? Where does that take us? God, I'd love to be alive around to see that. That'd be neat. Not going to happen.
And the interesting point about the Raven story, about their care for their future, is that in the ancient mythologies, the Raven is described as an animal which can foresee the future.
Yeah, I know it is, and that's it's so true. You wonder if that's, is that what they were thinking of? Is that why? Because they recognize that association. The Raven's able to do that. Is that just from observation?
I don't know, but this is the mystical. The Raven is a mystical symbol for the foreseeing of things.
Yeah, I know, and
foreseeing into the future.
Yeah. Well,
and this science thing proves it perfectly.
So we're saying because of science, we know that ravens can see the future. Got it. We're good.
If they can plan the future,
ravens are psychic. That's what you're telling me, Mark.
In ancient times, ravens were the pets of Odin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I know.
So therefore, he was the godfather of all the Nordic gods, and he could see the future and so on. And then there was a say at that time: when you see a crow or raven near you, he wants to tell you something from Odin directly. So yeah.
Interesting.
Here we go.
There you go.
I'm a little bit in that stuff, so
very cool.
Some stuff about that.
No, hey, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons. I know who Odin is.
Okay. Pen and paper or what?
Hang on. We're gonna move on. We got a couple of things. We're at like a few minutes left. So
okay.
This is a drone you'll like. I like this drone. If you're ever dying. This is a concept drone. I hate that when they make concepts and not realize it. This would be great if they put this together. This is a drone that is an ambulance.
All right.
This drone basically comes in. You can load a person on a gurney. You load a person in there with a medic, and it just flies them right to the hospital. The really cool thing about it, though, is one operator somewhere remotely could fly a bunch of drones. Oh, Hunger Games. There you go. We'll first see this being used in that. So there you go. I thought that was kind of cool.
Absolutely.
And here, this is actually bigger news than I think people understand. This is the Hyperloop first test. Successful test of a Hyperloop sled in a vacuum, maglev functioning. This was based on designs and information that Elon Musk handed off to 3 companies in 2013 saying, make it. And they did. So check this.
3, 2, 1, fire.
Sorry, guys. That was a mess. Hang on. Scott just tried to call me in the middle of a show, and I totally biffed that up because I was trying to shut it up. Thanks, Scott. He's trying to get ready for this event. we need to have a call today and discuss what's going on, or the event tomorrow. So I know, guys. Sorry about that. Again, there are too many things happening right now, and that's why we're having a hard time with this. I may take out another day of awake just so I can deal with what's going on. I'm thinking we're going to go to, like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to think about it. But it's just, again, having a hard time keeping it all together. Scott needs to talk to me. Obviously, we're almost done with this. But it's too good to go out without the end song and the last thing we need to look at here, if I can find it. There we go. Give me a second. This is 45 just being a... If you look up the term ogle, it means to stare at somebody with desire. To look at somebody with desire, right? Here's the President of the United States ogling Mrs. Macron. And then telling Mr. Macron, yeah.
Something happened with President Trump, comments he made that have now been posted on the Facebook page, I'm told, of President Macron. Let's listen. Joining me now, Matt Miller, a former spokesperson for the Justice Department, and
Nah, we're not going to listen to them talk about it. It's just gross. It's like a high school jock with a perma boner. Your wife's hot, man. That's basically what he said. I want to do your wife. When you ogle somebody right in front of them with their husband right there and then say, you're basically saying, I'm thinking about your wife in that way. By the way, I'm the President of the United States and I'm visiting your country and blah, 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 blah.
It goes even deeper, John.
Yes,
because he didn't say you have a good-looking wife or something like this. He says you are in a good shape. Your wife is in a good shape.
Yeah, I know. It calls her in good shape.
No. And he left out the rest of the line, and the rest of the line is for her age.
Oh, did he really say that?
No. This is how you formulate a sentence. Like she's in a good shape, for her age. He didn't say she looks beautiful or she looks good. She said she's in a good shape.
Well, he did say
and then
beautiful.
you can imagine how the sentence goes on,
Well, yeah. What was he putting on that? I get what you're saying. He's just a piece of shit. But you're going all grammar on him. Which is understandable. Right. Invictus is saying what you said. He meant she's in good shape for her old age. That's exactly what you're saying. Of course it was an insult. No matter how it was gross. It's gross. Jesus. Exactly. Here's the yes, ageism with his sexism. Here's the best part about that, everybody. So I just caught this video from Euronews, and hopefully we won't get slammed for it. It should be all right. We'll see. They do that silly stuff when one diplomat goes to another diplomat's place and they go watch plays and see stupid things and do stuff to make everybody feel special about themselves. Here they go to, they're on the Champs-Élysées. This says, du Daft Punk sur les Champs-Élysées pour le 14 juillet. There's my shit fuck French right there, okay? Basically, it's the National French Band of France, wherever the hell they are, is playing a Daft Punk song, which would be okay. I mean, that's an interesting thing to do. And you got Trump and Macron sitting there watching this. Trump's hair is hilarious. I know his face is basically just dumb, but look at his hair. His hair flops up and down. It's hilarious. There's nothing else moves, but his hair is just bouncing up and down. Macron's like looking at it like it's some thing, right? He's just trying to enjoy it and watch it. What we just saw was Trump ogling Macron's wife. This song, though, is called Get Lucky. It's about getting laid. I'm not sure they actually understood that this whole song is basically about going out to fuck and staying up all night to fuck. Anyway. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning, my time, for an awesome Bernie Sanders event in Iowa. Scott's already knocking on the hangout. We're getting out of here. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome.